Good afternoon, everyone out there in Speedgaming land, and welcome back to the Super Metroid Randomizer Tournament, part of Speedgaming Live Online 2023. This is a round one matchup between the 2 seed Zeb316 and the 31 seed Iron Rusty. My name is DJ Webb. I will be commentating this race for you along with my co-commentator, Asi. How's it going?
It's going good, D-Web. And for more area randomizer goodness, we got Zeb316. Both runners that I like to watch. Zeb really knows a lot about the mode and really all the area randomizer modes. So I'm hoping to learn a bit from how Zeb routes this. Then Rusty is just been around for a while, pretty good at the randomizers as well. But it's been spending some time on the ROM hack randomizers more recently. And even started up a group for monthly ROM hack races. So maybe less focused on this. But
yeah, the qualifier process definitely made for some interesting matchups here in round one. Only best of one, so maybe a little bit more pressure on that in that sense that in any given Sunday one race anything could happen. So yeah, hopefully these runners are prepared for what's before them and we can see an exciting race. Probably a lot of people think this matchup will go in Zeb's favor, but you never know. Like you said, Iron Rusty, no slouch of his own. Definitely, if you're someone who's working on randomizers and especially for ROM hacks with different layouts, the items work in different ways, knowing that kind of stuff and how to build logic is going to help you for something like this where any number of things and combinations can happen and you need to be ready for a lot of it. So
it also just helps your flexibility with different situations, different equipment sets, which just helps your way through rooms. But we're going to start with a Morph Ball here. Guaranteed is one of the first two items, Morph Ball. We're playing Major Minor. So the next Major coming up is going to be in the ceiling. And the other two items here are going to be Minors, which is going to be Missiles, Supers, or Power Bombs. I'm hoping to see early Power Bombs.
I feel like when first we started playing area randomizer as a community competitively, Power Bombs kind of made it so that there were different choices at the beginning, whether or not you look at this transition on the left or even take it. Now it feels like either way there's not going to be that much difference because almost no one goes to that transition and doesn't follow it if it's followable. So it's really just what kind of start do you have as far as being able to look at the transition and potentially also some other minors. But yeah, here we have missile and super missile, so no such opportunity. We're just going to be heading back up and seeing what the top of the criteria zone has for us.
Yeah, so far they're going to be forced to follow the same path. Go up to BT, and then we'll see if BT opens up options or if they're going to be forced over to the Battle Crabs. Yeah, they're going to be missing out on that transition information, since this is the most convenient time to check the Blueprint Star Portal. And if you don't check it now, it tends to just get done last.
Yeah, at the beginning of these, there's two hopes. The first hope is that you can check it. The second hope is that if you can't check it, that you just find it from the other side in a relatively convenient manner. Because otherwise, yeah, there are times where the race earlier today, it was Kraid's layer and it was deducible at some point, and the fact that you didn't do it early kind of didn't matter, especially the way the race played out. You kind of know that both of you ended up in the same scenario where it was just the last thing that you found, by deduction, and you were gonna do it when you did it. So sometimes it's not bad to have that happen where neither of them got to it until the end, but both from a race standpoint and just kind of from knowledge standpoint, it was very difficult to make that decision to do it at any other time. Because we find space jump.
Yeah, space jump is not a way to break bomb walls. So over to the Battle Crabs we go. You can use a super to break the the green door that's over here. But then the moat has an orange door, and we can't get through that yet.
So Zeb not opting to take the ship save. Some people like to, some people don't. There are, I would say with an E-tank, it's probably safer to not take the save. There could be scenarios where, like, if you didn't have any extra health and you're 99, for example, it could send you down like a Meridia path where, you know, the enemies do a lot and you only have 99 health. And in that front, the save, which Iron Rusty did decide to take, you know, could be very helpful. This isn't one of those. We're just,
Green Brimster.
yeah. We're just going where we would normally go at the start of any seed, you know, without, you know, running through Terminator and getting a free major, fortunately.
No, I like taking the ship save in case you're forced to make a soft lock decision, like you're talking about with West Meridia. Like it could run you into top of Red Tower, or just a situation that's really bad to have to reset to the very start and lose 5 minutes.
Yeah, and we see here power bombs under the bridge, which Zeb takes immediately. I like that if you come to the back of this area without a power bomb, if you see them under the bridge, or even if you want to like go and check early supers first, I like doing that because, you know, you might want this miner back here as well. This is one of the places where the items are like very close together as far as majors and minors, so getting all of them when you can is nice. So, you know,
Yeah.
even
I guess
though
this is the same as like going through a door transition to get a miner, and that's usually worthwhile.
yeah. So yeah, right now we got 10, 10, 5. You definitely want one more power bomb to make the management of those specifically a little bit easier, but otherwise we'll be fine for a little bit. Unlike in full, where if you're in this area, you do not want 5 power bombs or everything's going to be slow and you're going to have to refill several times. In major minor, usually 5 will do.
Yeah, resources are looking pretty good right now. A space jump is a great movement item if it's your only one. 15 supers is really nice this early. 2 E-tanks means you can do a lot and in the safer areas and even worry about taking damage. High jump is great movement and opens up a lot of Meridia. So we have the potential for a lot of options here. Getting close to being able to fight bosses.
Space jump probably the number one movement item if you don't have any. I would say if you're gonna get one more, probably it's high jump. Space jumping without high jump, it's obviously shorter, but it just feels a little bit less natural, and high jump makes it so, you know, you're doing basically what you expect to do, and you don't have to spend a lot of extra space jumps. You'll notice, like, you know, you see Zeb doing, even when you have space jump, wall jumping is faster because of the way that, like, the cooldown and, like, how space jump works weirdly outside of water, so adding high jump to that as well just makes, you know, vertical traversal, which is a staple of the 2D side of Metroid, much easier and much faster.
Russ is going for the Etikun Miner. Usually not worth the time. Supers are looking pretty good, so I don't think you'd want to do this just for supers. But another power bomb pack would still be useful. Just you can still do a lot with one power bomb pack.
Yeah, I usually only see people check this miner if you're looking for a super that you don't yet have. Most other times, the decision to do this versus just walking back out of Etikun's the way you came in is, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds maybe difference.
Spring Ball. So that's all of West Meridia doable. Zeb is going to be one of the double spring ball jumpers. Not everyone can do that. It's a pretty hard trick. But it does let you do all of West Meridia.
Yeah, I think I've seen someone double spring ball Everest exactly once. Usually people like to traverse the top of that room with grapple, but it is doable.
Yeah, I did that in my race.
Oh, well, I didn't see that, so that makes 2 people I know about that have done it. But yeah, this is I want to say these are the kinds of seeds that as we find screw attack as well, that Zeb really likes, because like you said, he's one of the people that knows probably almost every tech that isn't your crazy like borderline taco tank screw attack strat. So being able to showcase that and potentially gain an advantage over people who can't do some of those things is one of the things that
Going
Zeb
off
likes to
Mission
do.
Impossible. Yeah, Rusty is making a lot of minor checks, which is usually not worth the time. So probably gonna see him fall behind in terms of map coverage. But to get a super pack from the trip this time.
Yeah,
Now
there's a
Zeb's
bit of
playing
a
in the portal.
tug of war, ebb and flow of the minor checks. There's certain ones that you see most people do most often, and then there's some that we've seen Iron Rusty take. I mean, frankly, sometimes when people are playing full countdown, like they don't even like to check the Mission Impossible quite as quickly. But he is gonna be up. I guess maybe one missile and one super at the end of this, which probably won't be the worst thing in the world. But like you said, he's behind. He was behind, coming out of the Blueprint Star just on basically movement, and now he's gonna be also behind as far as these extra checks, and we'll see how much they pay off in the end.
Yeah. So we're seeing Zeb opt for West Meridia over Upper Norfair. Only 2 E-tanks for Upper Norfair, so going to show off this nice unmorph to get to Mama Turtle. Very easy to do. Just roll off onto the door and unmorph.
Yeah, this
Mama
is a
Turtle is
situation.
major.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, this is a situation where because of where you are, you just kind of want to follow this. It is risky. Also, Zeb, well, because like you said, with the spring ball and the double spring ball tag, he can get out of here. But if he ends up in like some very, very small chance scenario, this could end up really slow. The other options that exist in the seed are all back in criteria, which is why he wants to do this, just because it's a lot closer. Right. But yeah. And he went down to this item first. It's a nice plasma beam. If we get charged, that'll be very, very nice to have in our tow. But like if there like 2 dead ends down here in the bottom of West Meridia, for example, we'll put him in a situation where he'd have to, basically just climb all the way back up. There's also, 9 dead ends that would also be back, like Lower Norfair, for example.
Right. So there are some bad results to this play. That just costs a lot of time, but Zeb would be able to make it out. Even crab hole, double springboard jump out of that.
Yeah, I've also, depending on the way that the door faces on the exit to that, I've seen, who was it? I think it was Bressingham? It might have been Farfaloo. I was watching a race earlier where, because the doors from the Meridia map and the transition went to were like correctly aligned, he like took off high jump boots and did like a gravity jump through the door, then morphed and got out of there. It was quite spectacular to see, frankly. So yeah, there's options depending on how doors align.
It's good trick knowledge to know that. You can do it in vanilla even.
So yeah, we ended up in wreck ship, the front, which is quicker to get to the rest of the stuff than the back. But yeah, first boss area we've seen. This could be, it's completable if it's not Ridley. Dragon would be really, really slow, and you probably maybe don't want to do it, but you could.
No, if you know your suitless ammo Dragon kill, it's still a fast fight. I just haven't really seen those people be that good at that.
Yeah, and Iron Rusty is taking the path that was, the other option of just ignoring this West Meridia stuff and going back to the other areas in criteria. We could look at the moat, which is really, really easy. We have space jump, and we could look at the 2 on the left side, including Terminator. You could option Gauntlet if you felt so inclined. And there's also, that meme route, which probably isn't the thing that you want to do. But yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of map coverage from these two with the diverging routes.
Yeah, I'm pretty okay with Rusty's choice to go back. Criteria, it still has 2 majors that are pretty easy to get, a bunch of portal knowledge, and it's a lot safer to do than Meridia or Upper Norfolk to be done. Get Kraid, so Kraid's a good find. It's one item here, and then you gotta make decisions about what you're doing in Wreck Ship. But it's also gonna open up the Kraid closet when we find Kraid's lair.
Yeah, Moat went to pre-aqueduct, which is one of the things that Zeb didn't look at. Unsurprisingly, because it would be requiring lots of spring ball jumps. Ooh,
Oh,
there's
wow.
a charge.
A charge is really nice.
Yeah, with the plasma beam, I would say Zeb was actually in chat earlier talking about how sometimes the early charge makes you pick up fewer supers than you may want. I'm expecting to pick up probably few more supers. We'll see how he feels about his power bombs as well on those hunts. But you could definitely start checking quite a few less miners in the seed than you would otherwise. With the early charge can be deceptive, especially with no beams. But with the plasma beam, the strongest one, you're definitely in a situation where your damage is pretty good.
I feel like 30 supers is still the amount you want for everything except for a Lower Norfair with Ridley in it. A suitless Lower Norfair with Ridley.
Yeah.
So Samo's looking pretty good, but might collect more just in case he decides to skip Varia. Like 20, 30, 15 is all really nice.
Yeah, first save of the race for Zeb. He's going to this back of wreck ship transition, and yeah, Rusty does decide to take the space and through attack and just breeze through a gauntlet. Finds a reserve tank, probably not the outcome you were looking for, but if you find some other Upper Norfolk stuff over here, along with the Terminator Major, and you've got great movement, not going to be the worst thing you could have found. We'll see how convenient filling that reserve is when he is unfortunately past the ship.
So unfortunately, we're seeing Rusty make a lot of plays for miners, and the seed gives you a pretty free charge beam, and Zeb also having to get it really early in the seed. So that's working against Rusty's game plan.
Yeah, especially with those, slightly more out of the way miners he also did in Green Brand. This is time-wise looking advantage Zeb here in the very, very early stages. Ooh, and a grapple beam. So, depending on how these portals lay out, it could be a while, if ever, that Zeb gets back to that. Grapple, obviously the best part of it is the much easier Dragon fight and escape if you don't have gravity suit. Even if you have gravity, you can be the better fight plan. And we find Upper Norfair, so getting a lot of things.
It's Red Tower.
That was top of Red Tower. So they're all over the map, and if ironrusty just went into the G4 door, I didn't see it, unfortunately.
Yep.
Tracking things on others was. Oh yes, our the tracker to rule them all, Jestro, is on the buttons for us today. So if you're ever
I
looking,
really liked having this tracker here that I can look at in reference. That was the back of East Meridia.
Yep.
The mushroom door.
Looks like G4 went to Meridia map. So Rusty has found the two West Meridia doors that Zeb hasn't looked at.
Yeah,
but
interesting how that worked out.
Yeah, because of the way that this has worked out, Rusty's options are go to meme route or completely backtrack on everything he just did and go to where Zeb is, like 5 minutes behind, basically. I think he wants to save scum meme route, which makes a lot of sense.
Logically, this means Zeb has a way out of this path he's chosen, because can exit back out front of wreck ship, go down the crab map.
Yeah, and it looks like he's a little despite this this very full tracker and having all of the stuff he has, he wasn't in a great position to hell run until he found that speed booster.
Yeah, speed's gonna help a lot. With Space Jump, I'm pretty sure you can make Cathedral run on 2 E-Tanks. But with speed, it's way easier.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't a complete backtrack on Rusty's part because Pre-Aqueduct gave him the option to get here much faster, but yeah, with this decision, it does look like he's just going to be trailing Zeb map-wise and having, I guess, more health in the grapple beam as well as just, the portal knowledge that he has in Criteria, which I don't know when Zeb gets back
A
there,
little
the way
bit
this
more
map
health.
is laid out.
Like, Zeb still has 2 portals in West Meridia to check at some point. Right now it's going to be Red Burn Star, because that has a whole lot of portals and 2 majors.
Yeah, give him... His way back there, for my knowledge, is through wrecked ship,
It's another open warfare portal.
or like you find meme route. I don't think he really has another realistic way back there the way it's laid out, because I mean he has to get to West Meridia to get there basically. Well no, he could do the Green Brand from Morfair thing. That's the other route. But if he ever gets back to
Right.
Criteria, it will be quite a while. Is what I'm looking at, I think. But yeah, the grapple
exiting
beam.
front of wreck ships not realistic.
Yeah. What was I saying? The lack of grapple beam is something that could definitely be important in some points. Like I said, much faster suitless Dragon if that comes up. It's farm beam and lower Norfair. You very much appreciate that if you're running down there without Varia. And yeah, other than that, it's just the knowledge up there, which
Yeah, the knowledge is the criteria majors are not going to be suits, and that's really what Zeb wants.
yeah, and he won't. And like, so Iron Rusty, for example, has the Forgotten Highway side of East Meridian knowledge. If Zeb, which he just found the Aqueduct side, that's something that Iron Rusty will never have to traverse the other side of. Zeb could. That's something that time could make a difference. And yeah, otherwise, probably it's fine. It really just depends on kind of what meme route is, basically. Probably it's easier for Zeb to get there if at any point it's necessary, but I don't know. Probably you're gonna find the other side of it and it won't matter. But we're over 3 on the dead end so far, so actually pretty good chance it is a dead end, unfortunately.
Yeah, you do want to find those dead ends early, before committing to the really long portal checks.
Yes, we now have, as well as all of the movement items, we now have all of the suitless Meridia items. We got the Ice Beam. That means that the Botswan E-Tank that Zeb just, left behind at the middle of Red Tower, that is in logic. Now with, high jump, Ice Beam, you don't need the grapple beam to do the snail climb. And,
Yes, that
yeah, we've got...
is our first look at Lower Norfair. Yeah, Red Tower is very dense on portals. It's a lot of information by running through here. Okay, so 3 E-Tanks is still not enough for a Ridley kill, if that's what Zeb runs into.
I don't think 4 is either, but it's
4
closer.
is very maybe, but not likely. Bringing a reserve, you can do if you're really, really good at it.
Yeah, the reserve that Rusty has that Zeb doesn't very much. Yeah, you probably, like people said, the reserve on Ridley, because of how the drain works, if you are in the grab and your health hits 0, basically it's not going to start the refill until the grab animation is over. So like you basically have 0 energy for as long as you have 0 energy. Whereas if you only have E-Tanks, it's just counting down as it normally would. So Yeah, Ridley's definitely the worst option for Zeb here. Everything else will be fine. Fan 2 would probably be the most awkward, frankly, because of the way that you get back to wreck ship if you that happens to be the answer, as you know, speak it into existence.
Oh well. Killable boss at least.
Killable boss, yes, that means you're not coming back to this place at any point in the future, which was definitely what you wanted, but yeah, we'll have to see how the rest of the seed plays out. As far as the items and stuff, it's this is a weird thing because normally at the start of the seeds you're finding more E-tanks just because about half of the majors are tanks of some sort. Zeb has 4 tanks and like what is that, like 9 unique items, 3 beams, all the movement items, more bombs. Like this isn't a situation we're actually really used to. Definitely with this many majors checks, you expect to have quite a, you know, I would say at least 2, maybe 3 more tanks than you do currently.
Yeah, and that's mostly why he's been putting off Upper North here. Having to farm on 2 or 3 tanks is pretty slow compared to these other choices. But now with 4, it becomes like a better option if you're looking for majors. And that makes a decision point of wrecked ship versus Upper North Fair. We're not going to Lower North Fair yet.
I am expecting that Upper Norfolk will be his choice just because of how, like I said, it's awkward to get back to, well, no, it's not awkward to get back to wreck ship. It's awkward to get back all the way through wreck ship to, like, the rest of West Meridian stuff. But it seems likely to me that, well, actually, I really don't know. Because the way the portal's laid out, there's still the 2 dead ends, so one of them could be here. Oh, that to me feels unlikely. The only Upper Norfolk portal you haven't seen is the Croc entry, which could, I guess, lead to the, like, final descent into the other stuff, depending on meme route.
We're getting to the end of Portal Knowledge. Gonna be 2 more pairs after this.
Now what's meme route? So yeah, so what it looks like to me is that Crocodor in Upper Warfare. Oh wait, hold on. Let me get my thing straight. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's 2 dead ends, and there's Lower North Fair and Crocodor.
Yeah, so Crocodor could be vanilla. If it's not, it's Turian. The other dead end is the back of LN. So you have to go through the front, which is a 2. So yeah. Zeb, neither of them can actually know that yet, because of how divergent the routes are. We have all that knowledge mostly,
right?
Well, thanks to Iron Rusty's detour into what Zeb is about to do. So yeah, don't know that yet, but gonna get there pretty soon on Zeb's side, I want to say.
For Zeb, this is filling in a lot of portal knowledge. But I kind of think Zeb wants items right now to enable East Meridia and Lower North Fair.
Yeah, I also think that means that unless they go back to wreck ship, like these are the tanks that they have, and if Zeb elects not to do Gauntlet, it's gonna be a 4-0 and Rusty would be at 4-1.
East Meridia is over here, isn't it? Yeah, it's the other
back side. Which is kind of, I would say it's pretty undesirable. Yeah, I didn't expect to do that.
Like, it is a boss region. You can run into 2 majors for E-tanks to let you do Ridley. Oh, right, and then could come through here.
Oh yeah, he's got Ice Beam now to freeze this crab. And that's going to be how he makes this a single spring ball jump instead of double. This gets him right back to wreck ship, actually.
True.
Which is pretty nice, actually. Because, you know, you do whatever major is there, and then you're back in Upper North Fair, probably with another tank. But the way this seed's been going, I don't know, it could just be both suits. But Rusty is taking the plunge into Upper Norfair. Like we said earlier, all the movement
that's
items
good for
make
Rusty.
this.
So it's something that Zeb isn't doing.
Yeah, only 2+1, but you've got, Crystal Flash ability. You've got much faster stuff. In a lot of scenarios, like speed's really bad on this health, but you have speed and really fine. And it's so likely from our all-seeing eye perspective that you're gonna get 1 or 2 E-tanks here. That
Well,
probably this won't be
suits.
terrible.
Rusty's hoping to see a various suit first. Gravity suits.
Yes. We'll be very, very pleased with a various suit find as soon as possible. And that's
Okay,
as soon
we
as
got it
possible,
first.
but on the wrong side.
Yeah, the wrong side. Rusty can still make all these checks. It's just either a slow refill or a reset between each one. Or E-tanks, but you don't want to see E-tanks.
Yeah. It could be the last major Zeb checks, frankly. He's got everything he needs for every other place. Obviously the E-take's probably going to be checked. We'll see about anything else.
Zeb can just go. Yeah.
Yeah, he picked up that grapple beam, which was definitely one of the things that was most helpful for Meridia that he didn't have. Well, it was the only thing helpful for Meridia he didn't have that isn't gravity suit. But yeah, if you wanna go on this, you definitely can. He's now seen both sides of East Meridia. The only thing he doesn't know that's somewhat bad for him is the moat to pre-aqueduct. But if he just checks everything, he's gonna end up being fine. He's just gonna. It depends on which of these is Torian and which of them is Croc on how bad that hurts him. But I have a hard time seeing that being too much of a detriment. It's just gonna be a thing that's on his mind that won't bite him, but could. Because basically he's going to end up here in Upper Norfair. He's got the Croc door to check. That's either going to show him where Turian is, or it's going to go to Lower Norfair. Well, no, it's either going to go to Croc, or it's going to go to Lower Norfair into Croc or Turian, or it's going to go to the other dead end. I forget which one I said at this point, but when he's got 2 boss areas done, he knows where East Meridia is, which is off of Red Tower, which is off of Upper Norfair, so that's not an issue. And then he doesn't yet know that there's only one entrance to Lower Norfair. And I guess he kind of won't. That could be the one thing that is unfortunate for him. He might be hoping to find a back of Ellen he's not going to, and that could put off the Lower Norfair. But given that he's going to Red Tower, which is where both of the boss locations are, it's fine.
Yeah, you either want to put off Lower Norfair until you have all your bosses done for running into Torian blindly, or I don't know, try to find Torian elsewhere first.
Yeah, and I think I misspoke again earlier. The Croc door is a dead end. We just don't know which one. The Lower Norfair back is the other dead end. Oh, and there's Gravity at Wave.
There's Gravity. So Zeb doesn't run into that.
Yeah, almost certainly no. I don't know. Where's Rusty and can he get to very quickly?
Like, I think you follow East Meridia with the Gravity. That's the thing.
Yeah, you're right.
And at that point, Zeb should be able to finish East Meridia.
Yeah, there's a Crystal Flash to get that Gravity suit and live to tell the tale. Apparently Rusty didn't have this knowledge. I can tell you where it goes. It goes to the Rudy escaped the top red tower. Oh, or he has that knowledge and he wants to get back here because, like you said, you get this and you follow East Meridia. But he didn't have the knowledge. That's interesting. I guess the way their routes worked out, he never saw this stuff that Zeb very much did. Not 100% sure how it worked out. No, it looks like he'd been in this door. I don't know. In whichever case, brought him. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, this brought him back to the cool side of Upper Norfair, which doesn't look like it was where he wants to be. Probably he wants to be where Zeb is. Unfortunately, because, well, Kraid's at the bottom of Red Tower, right? So that's where he probably needs to be, arguably. So we'll just
Right,
see
now
what he ends
this
up
map
doing.
is lit up for Rusty, so this is all going to be new portal information. But does need to get to Kraid's lair.
Kraid's lair is the answer, but it's because Fantoon is there and Fantoon's hiding the various suit. But having the gravity makes some of the traversal that Zeb did much quicker for Rusty, but he was already a decent chunk back, and Zeb already made up all the information gap that isn't pre-aqueduct to moat, so
Yep,
I'm
Zeb's
not
cruising
sure.
through this East Meridia and not having any trouble at all. Very practiced at it. Get Ridley here. It's not going to be a problem with various suit. Even lets you gravity jump out, so that's pretty convenient. Saves a bit of time over springboard jumps.
Hopefully Zeb can show us a tech with no issues. And yeah, if Rusty, who peaked in the East Meridia, came out for X-Ray, I think he probably is going there next, especially because you can just go in and then come back out. It'll be a doable fight as far as Ridley with the now 5+1. He isn't decided to do it, interestingly. Knowing the back already, I think going there right now would have been a much cleaner route, but I'm not 100% sure.
He's setting
This
up
is
for
a
the
little
jump.
surprising to me, though.
Missed the jump.
I think gravity being exactly behind. No, gravity can't be behind Ridley or East Meridia. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I'm surprised he didn't check, but knowing this can't be gravity, yeah, now I'm not surprised.
Yeah. And already has pretty much every other good item.
Yeah.
So no surprise.
Yeah, there's the ice beam from Rusty. Zeb is showing off our spring ball jumping to get out of Precious. Looks like he decided that reloading the room wasn't worth it. Just eats the pauses. And yep, we're out. We'll space jump across this room and pretty much be done with water for the rest of the seed once we get out of here.
Yeah, skipping gravity is not really that slow. It ends up costing a couple minutes, but you can still make progress pretty fast. Almost done here in East Meridia, and the time it's taken Rusty to check all the portals of Red Tower.
Yeah, the difference between skipping gravity in an area seed typically versus skipping it in a vanilla map seed is that you only have to do East Meridia like in one go. You may not have to do, especially like, the upward part of West Meridia, that's the slowest part of it, and you just kind of don't have to do it. As we saw, Zeb traversed Meridia, but it was top to bottom, and like that is barely any time basically.
Gonna guess that Rusty is setting up to skip Varia. Or just thinking about it.
Oh, he's saving here. He expected that door to be red because it's supposed to be. But yeah, he's saving here. I'm assuming he's going in a crate and he wanted to save closer to here, I guess. Otherwise, I don't know. If you're not doing crate here, it's going to be really out of your way. So yeah, he's going there. And then probably, as you said earlier, to East Meridia, which he's just found the front of in this Red Tower area, which is just, it very much could have been the Varia answer. In this seed, it wasn't. Yeah. Potentially, yeah, like you were saying, we could see both runners finish with one suit, it being opposite suits.
Yeah.
And,
well, I guess from what we know, Rusty would have to exit out either the front of Lower Norfair or go all the way through. That could matter.
Yeah, he would be very interested in checking Crocodor first to see if it's. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. Yeah, he needs to check Crocodor first to see if that's Turian or not. Because if the Crocodor is Turian, then yeah, you have to come back through the front of Lower Norfair, which is bad without Varia, because of the acid.
Yeah.
But Judy, I don't agree in Iron Rusty's position. I do agree in Zeb's position. Because so like if you look at Zeb, if Turian is the back of Lower
Yeah,
Norfair,
we
he's
don't know
just
where
gonna do
Torian is
this.
yet.
And the same would be true for Rusty because you're gonna have all three bosses cleared before you go into Lower Norfair. Pretty much. I mean, that's the same for both of them. It's just yeah, in Zeb's case, going back to the front is trivial enough because you have Varia and Screw attacking all the movement items. Yeah, from Rusty's perspective, the thing that's gating Lower Norfair doable without Varia is exactly Croc at the back of Lower Norfair, which I believe, to his knowledge, should now be a 50-50.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to track how much each runner knows, but at this point, we can guess that they have similar knowledge.
Rusty showing off a combination of missiles and beam on Phantoon. The charge ice plasma is pretty powerful. It doesn't. If you have full beam, you can do a 2-round with like not that much Dopplering at all, which is nice. But just charge ice plasma, you definitely need to do some. I think he got a 3-round, which definitely not bad. Didn't need to do anything too tricky with stuff.
With charge ice plasma, you can do a charge shot. It's the same as a 6 Doppler. That's pretty solid and sets up your second round kill. So it's still nice to go for.
Zeb does get the Echo's kill on the second try. Missed it on the first one, but because he's already killed Ridley, he's not too worried about his ammo. I guess it was a double swap. The early game bosses swap positions and the late game bosses swap positions. But yeah,
that's great.
Thanks to having the grapple here, he's worry free for this boss he's about to kill.
Yep, gonna have a quick kill with the grapple and then also a quick escape. So grapple is really convenient in this situation.
Yeah, I'm interested in once we get our races in here post game, the way that Zeb decided to do criteria for meme route really worked out for him. In a way that I don't think it had to based on his knowledge. Like, he could have decided to not do that. Not exactly sure exactly what his knowledge of the map was at that point, but yeah, that's definitely a place where things could have really gotten tricky for him.
I think the meme route find was just really convenient for his placement in the overall map. Like, it was a quick way back to earlier part of the seed, and also a lot of portal knowledge at once.
So yeah, Rusty is in here in East Meridia. He's searching for a Varia he's not going to find. Picks up Spazer. Unfortunate. If you already have Plasma, it's only really good for Suitless Meridia, and you have the Gravity Suit, so you get to do a fun little menu. And yeah, picking up more power bombs, as we stated.
35 power bombs.
He definitely wants the ability to skip Varia. We're going to see from Zeb's screen whether or not that is much more feasible than it otherwise could be. But yeah, just quite a bit farther back on the pathing. And yeah, doing all these checks, he did all the upper door for checks. Zeb only did the business center ones.
Oh.
He's doing these East Meridia checks that he
giving us the Shack tool check.
Yeah, necessarily have to do, and from Zeb's perspective, obviously didn't get checked. And yeah, this is definitely one of those don't necessarily have to do's.
Yeah, this is really slow and not really something you're gonna do if you're like thinking about skipping Varia. You come here if you really want it.
Yeah. So time for us to find out which. That's Croc, right? With the fade out? Yeah.
That is Croc.
So Rusty does want Varia very much. It was a qualifier where there was a similar thing like this. It wasn't Croc at the back, it was Crate, so you actually had to do it, but in either case you have to do, the reverse amphitheater dive. And you definitely, like we said, and those are the situations where Varia skips a lot harder. It was still possible in that seed. Kip was on restream, tried to do it. Would have been successful if he played it like 1% safer. So it's possible, especially because of all the checks that Rusty's doing. He's not going to be able to do Plasma because of where Dragon is, but he's probably going to have a really good amount of energy at the end of this. So we'll see if Rex Shipped ends up on his plate, or if he tries to do the hell run.
Did get another E-Tank. Like has the ammo for many crystal flashes.
And Charge Ice Plasma. Not that you need your on fight down there, but yeah, you are you're more than good on damage. Should not necessarily need your ammo for stuff like that, but yeah. Zeb's gonna be running. This is this is the place where Zeb has basically 3 unknown doors. He knows that 2 of them lead to each other, and the other one is Turian. Let me look at my map and see which one he's closest to. So he's at 2.
I'm real worried about his health here. Dives in 1 hit to most enemies between here and the lava dive.
Yeah, got that short charge, very crucial. It's
health,
also.
too.
Yeah, one of the things I see people do a lot, that if once you're like at the end of that room when you're short charging, if you have like ice plasma or something and you fire a beam shot trying to open the door, you end up hitting the enemy if it like stops your running speed. Obviously he turned around anyway, so like that didn't necessarily matter, but that's a funny thing. He just ran through the door, or ran to the door, killing all the enemies. And like you said, he wanted health because he is still gonna take lava damage, a minimal amount, because of the way that the suits reduce damage in randomizer, but
I think it's in vanilla. This would take at least 100 health. I'm not sure what it is with the heat reduction of randomizer.
Yeah. It's essentially half of, because you're like, I'm thinking about like max GT, where you do this on no tanks, so you like barely escape and have 99 max, but that's going the other way with a good setup, and like the room kind of lends itself to be traversed that way a little bit better.
Yeah, Rusty's showing us the sand spark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him with the spark stored and spinning in the sand, waiting for it.
Yeah. Fun little quirk. Sand physics and speed booster and a bunch of weird stuff. So yeah, here's this is the one thing that Zeb's gonna have to do. So Zeb's first checking the moat door for Turian. That's gonna lead him to the West Maria door, and then he's gonna know it's Croc. But I didn't look at my map well enough. So Red Tower somehow doesn't lead to, or no, it leads to Upper Norfair doors,
Right.
but both of them are at the top. So he's gonna be resetting back to that. I think he took the lower tube save, right? Once he does this, and then he'll be able to get there. It's just a Red Tower climb away. But there were kind of not a lot of great options for him, just like where the doors were in relation to him. One of them obviously being like a lot of underwater traversal would be bad. So he took this instead of Upper Norfair, which is fine.
Yeah. So Rusty didn't know the Ridley location until just now. That might have factored into the various skip decision.
Yeah, I would say that if you're still looking for the Ridley knowledge, for not being vanilla, probably I would still do this before Shack Tool. And then, obviously that gives you the information because you only had 2 bosses left. Unsurprisingly, did this with a lot of room to spare. I don't even think he really needed to refill that reserve, but he decided to anyway.
A lot of health drops for not health bomb.
Yep. And it was X-ray behind Ridley.
It's our X-ray.
Okay, and Zeb is electing to go through here? I don't agree.
So what's our path?
I mean, I think he just resets back to the underneath the tube and then goes up Red Tower. Here, he's either. I mean, if he's going across, that's. Oh yeah, that's not too terrible, I guess. Because you end up. Where's the Green Hills take you to Lava Dive? You could have ended up at Single Chamber. Well, no, I guess. Carna Goose is the closest one to Croc Doors. Yeah, this isn't terrible.
Yeah. Seems okay.
It isn't what I would have done just because of the suitless stuff, but it didn't really go too terribly. Falling would have been tragic, but he didn't fall, so he's fine. Yeah, Rusty farming again. I think that signals suitless LN. He's going to be taking the gamble of Croc versus Turian, and unfortunately, it's not going to work out in his favor, but probably this is the play he feels he needed to make in this scenario.
Yeah, that seems like what's on his mind. Like clearing wreck ship for items is just slow, out of the way. You don't really want to have to do it, and especially racing Zeb. You gotta make a risk somewhere.
Yeah, it's interesting, like the way this all played out, because Iron Rusty had the criteria knowledge early, it put wreck ship even further away from him than I thought it was for Zeb. So, you know, just kind of not able to conveniently reroute in the wreck ship that you already went through. Because of the gravity suit, like I said, it's not as bad as it could be, but it's just kind of the way it worked out.
Yeah, playing these seeds, you're kind of preparing to be able to finish a seed, skipping a suit. Just playing towards that. Each of them down a suit. But, yeah, they're both prepared for that situation.
And interestingly, if you were going to do LN right now, you'd be heading down because it's at the tube. So I guess, I did say earlier he probably wanted the knowledge of whether or not it was Turian back there, so he could be heading back to Upper Norfolk right now to get that information.
Right. That's really slow, though.
Yeah, that was what I was
thinking. You'd have
thinking.
to commit. Like, it'd be better to commit and just hope it works out.
Yeah. Zeb breezed through these Metroid rooms. The only thing that is different on this lit out is no gravity in room 1 makes your strats probably different because a lot of people run through the acid and that doesn't work without gravity suit. But other than that, pretty standard. You have like everything that you would ever want. Your beam's a little bit less wide because you don't have wave, but that's all right. You're still piercing enemies with plasma.
Zeb's played Randomizer before. Has strats for missing items.
For certain. We'll see about this no wave baby skip. Looks like it's also a good start.
Lag.
It's just a bit awkward. He's got to hit all those ceiling ones for sure, as well as probably that last road. There he goes. Right now he just has to maneuver the baby in a good position. There he is.
Yep. Really good jump ropes.
So yeah, here's Rusty getting the unfortunate news that Lower Norfolk is an in and out deal. This is Turian, and from here, yeah, we'll see if he wants to search out Varia, which I do think has to be wreck ship or let's say that place waterway from his perspective.
Like, it might have been possible Rusty didn't have all the portal knowledge and was looking for Lower Norfolk back, but it's a little hard to confirm.
I think he should have had every information that wasn't that door back of Lower Norfolk, Croc, and Turian. So I think he should have known that that was a dead end. But I could be wrong because he's got that information. You can see the little thing at the bottom here. He's been through this before.
Like
And
I
he
just don't
definitely
like
went out single
to
chamber.
play if it wasn't for the back of Lone Warfare.
Definitely something we can ask him about. He is heading to that waterway looking for Varia. For sure, closer to him than Ruckship is right now. And yeah, like I said, I think it's true that his only Varia locations are Ruckship and here. He's going to be getting that information. We'll see if he ends up getting to Varia before Zeb finishes. He is rather close. It's hard for me to tell just how long it's going to take Rusty to get to Ruckship. But it is, depending on which side you enter, it's either the first or the second major you're going to check.
Resuit at right side supers. Gravity suit was at wave beam, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's where the suits are that each runner is missing.
Yeah. Zeb never went into Bubble Hopper and checked any of the items. He just, peeked at the transitions. I want to say from the other side in both scenarios. So, as well as, just in general technically your items, that's one of the things that, if you find the Hell Run Upper Norfair portals from the other side and don't have to Hell Run to them, save, reset, farm, all that stuff, those are things that can save you a lot of time and lose if that's a possible option that isn't also making you go out of your way to do so. Yeah, it looks like Zeb should finish on right under an hour, maybe.
Yeah, it makes for a pretty good finish time. I try to aim for sub hour. Makes for just a solid finish.
Especially for skipping the suit. Okay, so he wasn't far away from Ruckship at all. Like I said, having gravity definitely made it better. So he's gonna find Varia. It is gonna be moments before. It's gonna be probably a minute and a half before Zeb got done. And he's gonna realize that gravity wasn't the suit to find this race. Oh, he's not doing right super first.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Avoiding the quicker check.
He just wants to show us that Wave Beam is a D tank before we see it in the credits. Good guy, Rusty.
We've already seen the E-Tank.
Oh yeah, that's right. Zeb did check that, which I said he probably would. So, yeah. Just delaying the inevitable.
Went up to 10.
Yeah, collecting that E-Tank does suggest to me that he's still giving himself the outside chance of at this point, I could do it. But not gonna happen.
I think Rusty knows that area has to be here. If it's nearby, you just want to pick it up.
We'll be getting our Varia quickly. I think Zeb will be sparking the climb at that point. No, he's already through the door. Never mind. We'll be setting up. And yeah, this was well played. I want to say from both brothers. Like I said, the way that Fantune and the way that the portals checked out, Zeb was just closer to the wreck ship at a convenient time for the better of the two suits in this seed. Given the portal layout with lower Norfair.
Portal layout, lack of E-Tanks early on.
Yeah, almost too many good items. You gotta spread those out a little bit. Give us some health. So yeah, that is it. Zeb's on the ship. He finishes with an official race time of 57 minutes, 47 seconds. That's a first place finish. And he'll be moving on. The race of the matchup for the next round was just a little bit earlier this morning. I won't spoil it for anyone who didn't watch it and wants to catch it without knowing the result. It was a good one, I will tell you that. It was Fringle Fox versus Idle Child. And yeah, Zeb's got the winner of that. Iron Rusty's got the loser of that. And yeah, tournament will continue. We have our winner in the broadcast booth with us, GG Zeb.
Yeah, GG. That was a fun one. I like that one a lot. I wish that I wish that Torium were at the back of Ornorfer instead, but what can you do? I think that lost me like a lot of time having to backtrack, but yeah, it was a fun seed. I like when you get to skip a suit, especially in seeds where it's like actually good to skip gravity. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think that this is a seed where Vary is mostly required, which I generally am not the biggest fan of, like, because you have to do that reverse acid dive in the seed. It would be
Yeah,
really
in this-
interesting if Torium were at the back and you could, like, skip either suit instead. But
It was looking like in the sea that Rusty was in a decent position to go for a various skip, but then having to
yeah.
go back through acid dive just really doesn't make that easy.
With his ammo, I think he probably could do it, but like you basically want like a refill before the acid dive and then another refill after. So most of the time Crystal
Yeah.
Flash, but sometimes E-Tank at Fire Fleas can make up for that. But
Yeah. You both got suits at about the same time, so that was cool. We got to see how that would play out from there, with your routes being so different.
Yeah, I felt a little bad about going back to wreck ship when I did. Just for the items, not for the boss, but like with speed, and it kind of like routed back into Upper Norfair for me. Afterwards, if I like didn't find the suit there. But finding the suit there, like finding Varia already having every suicide item I could want, was pretty cool. And from there I just was like, this wasn't a terrible seed for West Meridia because there's not that much traversal through like West Meridia forced, and you can just do a front to front East Meridia without worrying because you knew both ends of it. So yeah.
Wave at grapple. That was like literally the only thing we didn't know where it was. Yeah. I think the biggest question I have. I'm looking at my map. I'm trying to remember exactly where you were. So you were in the bottom of Red Brents. You popped out at Meme Route, and you decided to clean up all the criteria stuff. Was that partly due to your health at the time? Was that due to how far away it was to backtrack to Upper Norfair, or were you thinking about those wreck
I
ship
felt
items?
like the criteria portal was the closest to me at the time. Like in terms of getting a new portal. So
Yeah, that makes
that's
sense.
kind of. I was just going to the closest portal I could find, and then like I would know after that portal which one to go to. Because there were only 3 portals plus Torian left, so either it goes to Torian or it goes to one of the other 2 portals. And it went to one of the other 2 portals, and then like I should have been thinking about beforehand, like if it goes to Pre-Aqueduct, what am I doing? But like I thought about that, and I swung across West Meridia there.
Yeah, that was the only thing at the end of the route. Obviously, not knowing the pre-aqueduct to moat kind of cost you some time looking for Turian. But other than that, I think like the way you did it really worked out, especially because, like you said, like the way that like the criteria cleaned up led you back to wreck ship, and obviously, like we said, that was the better suit this seed. Kind of put you way ahead in this one. Rusty, like the biggest difference was early on when you ended up in that green Benson area. You fell down West Meridia. Rusty went back to criteria and then ended up falling down West Meridia anyway, but from pre-aqueduct. So
okay.
he had that
Yeah.
criteria knowledge, which, like I said, you cleaned up in like the best way because it led you back to Varia.
Yeah, I just felt like if I didn't have maybe Spring Ball or something, maybe I don't fall down that West Meridia if I don't have High Jump. Like, but I did have a way back, technically. It's not pleasant, but you can double Spring Ball jump back up to Redfish. And you can also double Spring Ball jump over to Pre-Aqueduct. So even if, like, I was planning on saving after Mama Turtle, but I fell, and I was like, I'm not going to bother Spring Ball jumping back up to save.
Yeah, I was wondering a bit about that decision point. That was West Meridia versus. It was a bit of a bad Upper Norfair, but you could get to the cool side, I think. or
Yeah,
going back to criteria?
I don't think that was a good Upper Norfair. Like, I don't know. I think that was like I guess you get some portal knowledge, but with 2 tanks, it's like you probably get to Business Center and you don't have enough energy to check ice at that point. And when you're in Business Center, you really want to like be clearing out Business Center, and you don't
Yep.
want to like have to like farm a bunch of Sovas to do that. Because farming Sovas is pretty bad. So I think that like if the portal at Croc is good, because I think that you probably just like blue gate glitch there and go across to the
Yeah, you
refill,
probably check that first.
and you do that.
You
If that portal is
gotta
good,
nail that gate glitch too.
yeah, you don't have a ton of time, which I did not nail it in my but yeah, like if that portal's good, then that works out pretty well. If it's bad though, I think you kind of get sucked into some not great stuff, I guess. Where I think the falling down West Meridia, like I don't know, like I really like being able to check Mama Turtle too on the way. Like that's a very out of the way check that's hard to get to normally. That if you just happen to like have a path that works out where you can check it for like not too much cost. I really like that. I also kind of like delaying Upper Norfair when possible, because every E-tank you find before Upper Norfair speeds Upper Norfair up a lot. So if you're like entering with 6 full tanks into like Bubble Mountain, then you're saving a lot of time because you can go to like the reserve first, and then you like if you get any E-tanks, you can go to Wave next and like just completely skip the farms. Where like I feel like the farms can like take upwards of like 30 seconds to do if you have to do them, especially if you're like doing them multiple times. It can even take like more than a minute. So I like to try to avoid that time loss if possible.
What do you think about the like the time loss risk of climbing back out of West Meridia if it does end
Yeah,
up
that
being
was pretty
bad
bad,
portals?
but like, so I wasn't really like considering the Upper Norfair, to be honest. I was thinking about either I'm
Yeah, I think
falling
Upper
down
North
West
didn't look
Meridia,
good.
I'm falling down West Meridia, or I'm going back to Crateria. And Crateria, like if Crateria were Red Tower instead, like if I were going back to a Red Tower that I hadn't cleared, I think I'd do that instead of falling down West Meridia. But it's Crateria, so you're not like the items there are fine, but that's not really what you're like. They're not suits, so you're going there to like get worse items. The portals are all very spread out, and there are only like 4 in total, but like I wouldn't really even count Meme Route as one. So you're like going back to an area that's really slow to kind of clear out that doesn't have great items. And you're comparing that to like falling down West Meridia, getting an item that could be a suit at Mama Turtle, and then getting 2, I think, comparatively quicker portals at the bottom, which I think is just like, yes, it's bad if both portals are bad, and I have to do the double remote jump. But I think that the upside is high enough that it's worth it, especially because there aren't that many like truly bad portals for me. I think that all of the remaining Upper Norfair portals were good. I still hadn't seen any of Red Tower, so that's 6 more portals. The portals that are bad are like Kraid, Torian, Lower Norfair, and East Meridia. But like East Meridia you can even like go through potentially, which would be
Yeah.
bad, would be really bad, but
Yeah, some of them are still workable, even if bad.
Yeah, I just felt like it was worth it. And like I felt like it was almost kind of, to me, I felt kind of forced into it because I felt reasonably favored in this matchup, so I didn't really want to do that because that's like a high risk play. But I felt like it was just like enough better than the alternatives that I was willing to do it, even though it's high risk.
That's fair. What about Crab Supers? Is that just a slow check? Not getting it all the way down?
So, let me yeah, I think that's a kind of slow check. Like, there are times where I'll definitely check it. I think that with my E-tanks being as bad as they were, I'm not really looking for like another super to be able to kill Ridley. Like that's one of the things that I'm thinking about. I'm not like it's not the ammo's been really good so far. I think I was on like 30 supers after Green Bryn. So I'm not so the better the ammo is, the less somewhat out of the way checks I want to do. Because I'm very likely just to get into ammo mode on the way anyway. So I don't want to like waste time checking items that aren't on the way and like end up at like enough ammo with free checks still available to me afterwards. Like that's not an ideal way to like play ammo seeds. So I was thinking like I kind of want to my ammo's good, I don't really need to check it, I guess, was kind of my thinking.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yep, your ammo ended up working out really well this seed.
Yeah, yeah, and the ammo
I'll
was
check
really
the
good, but what the charge, like,
plasma into charge.
yeah, yeah, it was like okay, like that's. I mean, you got the ammo anyway, like, or like you got the charge anyway, so like the ammo didn't really matter. And for me, because I didn't have to do the suitless LN, like I didn't have to even worry about the 30 supers for Ridley that much. Where like in some seeds, you get like a strong beam, but you still really want those 30 supers because when you're fighting Ridley without Varia, you just like need to do it with 30 supers. Like it's doable if you got like a strong enough beam with some charge shots, but it's really hard even then. Like full beam combo is the only one that I think I'd be comfortable with fighting without like supplementing with a good number of supers. Like, and even then, like I feel like I would need a lot more energy than with just the 30 super fight. So, but because, well, so that's part of the reason. Like, if I had both suits, I'm skipping those supers at high jump. But I only had I didn't have any suits, so I'm still thinking about Ridley. So I picked up both supers at high jump, even though I was already at 30. In the case that I stumble into Ridley, I don't have to like worry about farming either. Then, and Lower Warfare, like if this ends up being a variolous seed and Ridley is vanilla, then I think you really want those 40 supers. You probably want even more than 40, to be honest. But
Yeah, a little bit more than 40 is really good. But with grapple, like even 30 can work.
Yeah, it
decently
can.
okay.
If there's a knee tank behind Ridley, it works well. If there's not, then it can get a bit dicey with that. But
Yeah, more is good.
yeah. Yeah, I felt really good about how I played it up until like the crab fall. I was a little worried, or like the West Meridia fall. I was pretty worried about that, and I saw Wreck Ship, which kind of delays whether you find like a good or a bad portal because like you can still get to the back of Wreck Ship there. So you still have like 2 portals to check even after finding Wreck Ship. I was pretty glad that there was a killable boss there, especially Kraid. I was a little worried that it would be Fantoon, and I would kind of get baited into clearing Wreck Ship when I probably shouldn't. But like I think the worst one of the best things about this mode, I think, is it removes the Wreck Ship checks mostly. To some extent. Like one of the worst parts about Super Metroid, I think, is just Wreck Ship because you're doing the items, they're very slow, they're not progressing you in any other way. And it just like is a recipe for like high variant seeds. Where if the item is there, the person who checks it wins, and if the item's not, then the person who doesn't wins because it's just so long to check it. But in this seed, but in this mode generally, I think that there's less of that wreck ship variance because most of the time you get to it, you like kill the boss, but you can't do wreck ship, or like you have to come back later when it's kind of one of your last things anyway. So.
Yeah, I think For most of it, it seemed like, what you were doing was fine. Like I said, the biggest thing that, like, the way the wreck ship passed in the seed, kind of both the first and second time through, just kind of really worked out for you. The
Hmm.
portals lining up at the beginning and then the very at the end. So, yeah, you definitely did a good job. You're on to round two. No more scary best of ones. So I'm sure you're
Yeah.
excited about that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that for this mode, there are some seeds that come up that are high variance seeds. But I think that in general, this mode is like one of the lower variance kind of modes out there in terms of like the better player wins significantly more often than in most other modes, I'd say.
I think it's as high variance as you want it to be. Yeah.
So I really like this mode. I'm really glad to get out of that best of one and get into the best of threes where if there is one of those like seeds that's weird, I still have a chance in seeds 2 and 3. But I think that I'm playing Fringo in the next round, so that should be a good matchup.
Let's try not to spoil that for people who didn't know, but yes.
Okay. Apologies.
But yeah, it should be a good one. He took down two pretty good people in league. So definitely not a free ride, but
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. Yeah, the brackets taking shape
Oh
a little bit.
no.
I think so. Yeah, I was wondering. I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah, that's a
I was
soft
looking
block.
at the race room for a while, and I was wondering why it took Rusty so long to finish. And yeah, that was why. Unfortunate stand-up mishap. Not something you see too often. If you detach the baby in a bad spot, uh, you're not you're not uh you're not getting damage on the baby. So fortunately, you had a save.
I've actually done that myself pretty recently.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever actually soft lock stand up, but I do a really safe stand up though. Like I don't try to get extra shots in or anything or like really manipulate the baby. I just kind of like do it in a way to make sure that I'm not soft locking when I do it.
Oh, has a save right here.
Yeah, I guess I mean the race had been decided, so the save costs nothing. But
Yeah.
fortunate to have. We will be able to see a finish. I do think so. The next race in this tournament is actually on this channel. We're backing up into it a little bit, so I think probably we're gonna let his race play out, and then we'll probably be switching over to the other one. So I asked if you want to join the interview, or they didn't get a response. I'm assuming this was a bit of a frustrating end to it. So GG's to Rusty. Like we said, still alive in the tournament with the double elimination format, and yeah, you've had a very insightful interview. Thank you for that, Zeb. And I don't have any other questions.
Well, while we're waiting for Rusty to finish it out, if we're going to do that, then I can talk a little bit more about the seed. I was thinking about whether or not to check fire fleas in Modern Warfare on the way back once I knew Croc was there. Because I was thinking about like whether I wanted a refill, and I kind of regret not checking it for that potential refill.
Oh
No.
yeah, that Lord Warfare exit.
Hmm.
It
But
was
like
not
it
bad.
shouldn't have been that. But it shouldn't have been that dicey. Like I took a hit from a pirate on the reverse acid dive, and that kind of is what made it a lot more dangerous than it should have been. I should have been more careful with that and made sure not to take a hit. But I was pretty scared on the way back then. I was thinking about trying to check stuff to like be able to get up to a crystal flash too, but
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that. I mean, we were way past the point where you needed to check any majors to complete the game. Like gravity barely. I don't even know if gravity helps you if you find it there. So that wasn't something I
it
was thinking about.
I
But
would have
yeah.
picked it up. But yeah, it would have
Well,
like it
yeah.
would have helped through the
Faster
reverse acid
reverse
dive.
amphitheater. Yeah,
Yep.
and no lava dive damage,
Hmm.
which somewhat ended up mattering because of your low health situation.
Yeah,
But yeah, you were always
I just
fine.
took the save. I knew that like my energy was fine for the reverse lava dive, but I was worried about taking a fireball hit. because those do
Oh
go
yeah, it
100.
would be bad. But yeah, this time the stand-up was successful for Rusty, so not too far off from finishing. He did give us some GGs in the chat. Like I said, thanks for coming through here, Rusty. This was a a good showing. Just you found unfortunately the wrong suit for this seed early, and that made a lot of the difference.
Yeah, Rusty did give us divergence in the race. Gave us a different set of checks, and that just resulted in different suits and different paths from there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you literally only hell ran ice in this whole seed, didn't you, Zeb? That's kind of rare.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I could have gone into hell runs after that speed, but I was only on 2 tanks, and I think that 2 tank hell runs can really go badly. Like, if you don't get E-tanks in your items, 2 tank hell runs just like tend to be incredibly slow. It's very hard to get the items and get out at the reserve and wave. I mean, with 2 tanks, I don't think it's possible at wave. So if you find like a reserve and then spring ball, then you're just like spending so much time. Like, I think that's kind of a high risk play to do those hell runs in that kind of a situation.
Just like you have to play the rooms better too, to not make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at the schedule and tell you all what's coming up here shortly. Like we said, we do have a race here on this channel coming up very soon. They actually just started in the race time. We're on a 10-minute delay, so that'll be here for you shortly. Later on today, we have Not Doubtland versus Cutie. That's in an hour from now. Doesn't look like there's a tracker signed up, but no commentators. That'll be on Speedgaming 6 if we get a restream. Later on tonight, there is Kip versus Beef Robber at 8 p.m. Eastern. That should be actually quite a fascinating matchup. Both of those are really good. Obviously, Kip much more accomplished, but I mean, I do not think that's a foregone conclusion. Yeah,
that one's one of the ones I was looking forward to the most this week.
Yeah, and then tomorrow there are 3 races on the schedule, including what I believe is Kupo versus Chillingworth. That's in losers, right?
Yep, that one has some losers.
So yeah, there's already tomorrow there will be an elimination from this tournament. There's also Ace versus Sloters at 2 p.m. Eastern. That also could that one definitely could be interesting as well. And yeah, also Tony T Young versus Derp. That's the 16 versus the 17 seed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got lots of stuff. Oh yeah, winner faces Aussie. So yeah, we're getting along. This is the first week of the tournament proper, but matches are coming along steadily, and yeah, people are fighting tooth and nail to advance further. So yeah, I think that's it for me. If either of you have anything, feel free. Otherwise, I'll let Aussie close us out in the end.
I'll just say thanks for the comms, DWeb and Aussie. Looking forward to watching that back. Thanks for the tracking, Gestro. And looking forward to the remaining races.
Yep, thanks for that, Zeb. You put on a good race, you and Rusty. Thanks to Gestro for the tracking work. I like having this new tracker. Great. Thanks to DWeb for here helping me commentate. And that'll be it for this race. Up next right now is going to be Eddie and Diggy on this channel. So give it a few minutes and we'll start that up. So, yeah, see ya.